Hello people of the interwebs, it's ThatDudeInTheHat, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Metroid Zero Mission. In the last episode, we did two things. We got the high jump, and the Varia suit. In this episode, the plan is to continue further through Norfair, hopefully. So, I guess first off, we're going to do some cleanup here in Brinstar. There's a few things we can get, like the rest of this map. Yes, this. Okay. So, we now know that because of the Varia suit, we are immune to the damaging effects of acid, though it still has quite the impact on our movement. Though, wall jumping is still just as overpowered as ever. We have another one of these things, but if we, as you just saw because I accidentally showed you, we have these things. But you might also say, okay, we can continue to the right. No, we can't. No, we can't. But we pick those up. Be careful not to explode them. And we can solve one, this nice little puzzle. Sadly, it takes a while. Continuing on to the right, and we're going to ignore that Chozo statue. Hopefully we're going to get the thing that's going to point to. So, I actually don't know what triggers it. I think it's either getting a certain amount of energy tanks or getting the Varia suit. But you're going to notice that the enemies are a different color now, because they are the more difficult variant. Which I think just means more health and more damage. Yeah, these are still yellow zoomers, but we should be encountering some red ones later on. And I will see you at the next thing I'm going to do. Oh, hopefully, which is hopefully somewhere in Ridley. Norfair. Whatever. Bye. And now that we're back in Norfair, we're gonna do a few little things before actually continuing on in proper. Because we've got a little bit of cleanup we can do. But it shouldn't take that long. Just up here, we've got this heated room that I believe we could have dealt with earlier, but is easier to deal with now that we have the Varia suit. Which I completely whiffed on bringing this up when we had gotten the Varia suit last episode. It also, I believe, halves your damage. Like, all your incoming damage. Here. There's a room that looks like this, that, I don't believe it's here. Okay. Yeah, we can get that missile tank. So, back in the room where we got the high jump in the last episode, we can finally properly continue on through this heated section. Now, in that episode I had shown, you know, you going through here and getting hit, taking damage and all that stuff. But I do believe the quote-unquote intended method is to go up here. That way you don't take damage. Now this room is fun, but kind of tedious. You got this big open space, long stretch of ground, and all of these destroyable blocks, some of which respawn. Which is a tad annoying. And as you can tell, it is definitely enough space to get a speed booster off. I'm just gonna check down here. You know, I should really have like a map open, because I have 100%ed this before without a map, but I really shouldn't just be going off of memory alone. That's just like a good way to miss something. But you can clearly get a speed booster off, which is what you're supposed to do. Very reminiscent of something to come up later. Ah, big guy. Okay. I hate the... keep that in mind. There was only one enemy there. I don't know how long you're gonna have to keep that in mind, but... now, somewhere else. Ah, okay. More green door that we can't open. I should probably show that, yeah, you can't open. No matter how many missiles you shoot into it, it just won't give up. Is this as low as you can go? This one, yeah, it's as low as you can go. Oh, okay. Sorry, I just don't know how much I want to talk about early. Because there is a lot to cover in this game. Like, a lot of things you can do early and stuff. It's really neat. I believe there is something here, but you can't do anything with it. You have to discover it from the other side. Right, so this room over here just connects all the way back here. Which is a nice little note, because there's nothing in that room. So, nothing helpful to pick up. Which is really good, because if you've gotten over here without the Vari suit, you won't be missing much, or anything. Because you can just go down here instead. So, if you remember from Metroid 1. So if you remember from the original Metroid, your second trip to Norfair, you know, after you've gotten, after you've dealt with Kraid, typically has you getting a very, very iconic, tool. Something that I think only didn't show up once in the entirety of... Twice in the entirety of the history of Metroid. So, very iconic. Almost as iconic as the Morph Ball itself. And if you, for some reason, have the map very memorized in your head of where it is, you might remember that it's, pretty close by. Well, you can still get it now. It just takes some clever thinking. I think I trapped myself, yeah. So, I don't actually want to get it now, because it's attached to a few sequences in the game. So I'll meet you back here, but just know, by doing that, you can go ahead and, you can get the screw attack. So I'll see you back here. And finally, back over here. So, checking the map, we've done about as much as we can do. On a typical playthrough, you wouldn't have found that, secret tunnel up in the top right, and you won't know the other ways that you can continue down in the bottom right. So you'll be over here and wondering what to do. Yes, of course, you'll check in here. And it's a map room. But I said, I'm not going to be taking any more map rooms, so, yeah, no. So, what are you gonna do? Well, if you take the map room, or if you just wait here long enough, you see that. So that's what we do next. But oh wait, we can continue down, but... Oh, that's hot lava. Interesting little divot in the map, though. Now isn't this I'd say welcoming sight, but that's not very apt, really. I mean, it's a very familiar sight if you played the original game. This kind of bubbly room. And as well, if you've played the original game, then you know what that bubbly room means. What we're getting close to. Weird-ass thing that can only be destroyed with missiles. Looks like the weird vine things, they're ensnaring the things. Continue onwards to a save room. Interesting. More heated areas, and... Well, ain't that just annoying? Oh, they respawn too. Great. No way forward, it seems. Well, it looks like all we can do is go back. And, you know, take out this incredibly obvious block. Into this incredibly fake lava. And deal with another one of these. I mean, if you've been picking up everything so far, they're not a hassle, but still. And... that, now you know, that standing Chozo statue up here, right of the Varia suit, that was pointing us here. To the wave beam. This beam, which is made up of energy waves, can pass through solid objects. Very helpful. Very nice. Look at that. Sadly, you can't see the purple, so let me... Which, oh, that's actually a new thing in this game. Beam stacking. They didn't do that in the original. Ah. Can't go through that part of the Chozo statue, but I believe that's because it's technically an entity. So not like a block or anything. Oh, and I know, like, I feel like I have to say this. This sprite set, this purple sprite set, that wasn't added or by the hack that I'm using that lets me toggle on things. That already existed in the game. You can get this far and not without the ice beam. So you can actually see that in the normal game. It's just a lot harder. But, like it said, it goes through walls. And it's, you know, also wider. Very, very helpful. And also, exactly the thing we need. Now we can just zoom on through. We're on the other side of that room. Another one of these things. This one looks like this one's grown out of its shell a bit. So they've got weak undersides. Interesting. Oh! Oh, okay. Weren't we in a bit of a pickle now? Ah. Okay. We still can't get to the underside. Use missiles to speed it up. I wonder what we're supposed to do. Be clever as hell. I believe you can get this in one rush. Yeah. Doesn't take that much. And now we know... Ah! That's what was in this room. Another energy tank. 6. And that was the maximum amount of energy tanks in the original. So I guess that's how many we'll have for the rest of the game. Roughly 700 health. Ah, right. Now we have enough distance to pull off a speed booster. Yes. A bit of a run. We finally can move forwards. But first, I want to show something. Not that. Actually, don't know why that's there. I think it's just so you can get up. I don't know why that missile block's there. I think it could have been something else, but anyways. So here, it's sitting even though we never sat in it to get it to sit, because they'll sit if you've collected the item. What I want to do is finally show off the secret tunnel on the right side of Norfair. So I will see you up there. And back over here. So as I showed all the way back in the first episode, this exists, and it is way easier to do now. And it's just a straight, mostly straight fall. To an enemy spawner and a missile block. Pooping us right back here. But enough lollygagging and showing off. There's only one way to go. And so we shall go. The door locks behind us. And... Huh. So I don't know the name of this boss. But what I can tell you about it is that it shoots these things at you, which is how you get supplies if you start running low, and you've got this winged ripper floating around. Ah! We've seen that before, so we know what to do. And no, you don't need to use the winged ripper. And no, you also can't kill it, thank goodness. But here's something you can do, a nice little trick with this boss. Yeah, the hitbox for this thing, which, if you haven't noticed, is one of those larva things we saw, but grossly attached to something. But we shoot down these root, vine, life-sapping things. I guess Zebesian version of Zebesian equivalent to, not piranha plants. Oh, I could have sworn it took out the Ripper, too. Maybe. But we deal with what I guess are Zebesian equivalent to Venus fly traps, and it falls! And wriggles around. Well, but finally, we're here. And in the next episode, we're going to take a step further and say hello to our old pal Ridley. But I'm going to cut it.